Hello everybody, I'm here on this shockingly hot day to talk to you about winter hats, which can be fun to knit if you have the adequate air conditioning to allow it. The high today is 94 and here we are in fall. It's, yeah, like I say, kind of shocking. But I wanted to share this book here, Knitting Hats and Mittens from Around the World. And there is a wide variety of patterns. I've only tried a couple and I'll share those with you, but we can also look a little bit at some of the options. Even the one on the front is really sweet. Let me just kind of, I'll wear a hot hat here while I'm talking to you about the countries that are represented in this book, which are mainly Europe, but there's also Japan. Let's see, we have Scandinavia, Finland, and there's some local names from areas that I'm not familiar with, but there's Iceland. We've got Latvia, Greece, Lithuania, France, the Aran Islands, Great Britain, Japan, China. There's a short row hat from China, and Peru. So we have also got South America going on here. And here's kind of a pictorial menu. This, I really want to do this one. I think that would be fun to try. But it's hats and mittens, and you can see the plethora of color. So a really great resource. Let me know if you have this book and if you've tried any of the hats in here. Be curious to know what your experience is. So I this is a Norwegian hat, so we'll take a look at that. The pattern is, let's see, it's called the Min Ula hat and mittens, designed by Eleanor Brown. So that's the designer. This is sort of a collective. It says Heirloom Patterns. And the hat is, well, the mittens are lined, but the hat has kind of a nice thick rim around it. So here's the close-up picture that they have of both. I like the crown shaping. It's kind of a neat sort of circular swirl that goes on there. And there's more than one pattern for the colorwork, so you actually can pick from a couple different patterns with then the lice styling up above. So here's my realization. And to be honest, I probably could have used I probably could have reduced it by a few stitches or used a thinner yarn. I did actually felt this a little bit to sort of bring the size down, and I kind of like the way it turned out because it's very, very warm, but it's pretty, isn't it? So that is the design, sort of a traditional snowflake, and that's how the crown shaping looks with when you do multiple colors. And I did some of the lice at the top as well. The brim is doubled. So basically you knit this ribbing and then you sew it under. So it's sewn along here. And I think the next time I do this pattern, which there'll probably be a next time, I think I would probably reduce this section by maybe 5% of the stitches so that it hugs more within the inside of the hat, and then add a few stitches when I go back to the color work so that it's just a little bit tighter around my ears. But otherwise, it's extremely warm and very beautiful, traditional Norwegian pattern. I don't know if there's anything else to say about it, but all the instructions are great. Just using two colors. And there aren't a lot of floats because the alternations between the colors come close together. So from that standpoint, it's a pretty simple project to attempt. And then I wanted to show you the hat that I like even more. This is called Tai Huri Huri hat. And this pattern is from New Zealand. Isn't that nice? Let me see if they have another picture of the hat from above. That's what I'm looking at for right there. So you can get a better idea of the crown and the design. Because when you're wearing it, you know, it's going to be sort of cocked back just a little bit. So it might be easier to appreciate the color work like from behind. And this is sort of floppy, you know, it's generously shaped. If you have more hair than I do, you would love that. And it just looks kind of cool to have it, you know, be that generous of a fit. One of the things I love about this, so you start off with, you just do a short ribbed section to get going. See if I can kind of make that show up. But you can see it's just, I don't know, 4 or 5 rows if that. Yeah, maybe even just 3. So it's just a couple of rows of ribbing. But then you go into this, it's a very well explained trick where you use 2 colors and you kind of interweave the 2 colors in and out. Like I say, the directions are excellent. I'm not going to break their copyright by telling you all the details, but I just love the effect. And I like the way that it sits around your ears because there's just like enough thickness there to be a little warmer on a windy day. Like today, it's really windy. It's just 94. So, you know, maybe if it was 20 in this windy, I'd feel differently. But I had to really scrounge in my stash to kind of find colors that worked for this pattern. But I think I did pretty well. And there are no more than 2 colors per round. So that makes it nice. And here we repeat that motif from the bottom, which is really nice to get that sort of balance. And the crown is really pretty. It just looks like a star. Isn't that nice? That's just really pretty. It's a nice design. I feel like I have some cat fur on here. Yeah, I have 6 cats, so they're, but it's like a rainbow star. I really love the, it almost has a Greek feeling to it. The way that these sort of spiral around, it's just really pretty. So I think, if anything, my colors are even bolder, especially with the pinks that I was able to find, and I was able to mimic the green pretty well. But there's hers and there's mine, so it's pretty close, isn't it? It's pretty close. I like my pinks a little bit more. So yeah, this is billed as a New Zealand pattern again. All of the directions that I followed so far in this book are excellent. I think they must have had some really good test knitters, and I'm just curious if there's any cultural information about this. The charted designs for this New Zealand hat combo are inspired by Maori tribal, if I'm pronouncing that wrong, forgive me, but M-A-O-R-I, tribal creation myths. Or more specifically, the Tai Hori Hori symbol, which means turning tides. So that's the meaning of that. And it's supposed to symbolize the movement of the ocean and the cyclical yet ever-changing nature of life. So when I'm wearing this hat, I'm making this bold spiritual statement. Isn't that neat? The designer is Anne Carol Gilmore, Gilmour. And she writes that she chose the shades that remind her of the earth, the sea, and the sky. And let me see here. So this is a DK weight. This yarn is a DK weight. And the other yarn is more of a worsted weight. Although I think when I try it again, I might choose something that's maybe like a light worsted. Because the way it's designed is going to be really warm. But anyhow, just kind of wanted to pop in here with these hats from this beautiful book. Should be pretty easy to get a hold of. I'm not even sure if I bought it new or not, but I highly recommend it. I don't know if there are any other pictures. I think the menu of pictures at the front is pretty much what they have. Some of these, they just look delicious. I really want to try that yellow one. Here, this is a Latvian design, I think. This one, look at those pretty colors. They're so brilliant and happy. And let me see what else I could just point out really quickly. Here's one that's Icelandic. This is really pretty. Let me see if I can, well, here's a good picture of it with the mittens. It's a tam. It's a tam. Isn't that lovely? And some of the skills are more demanding than others, so there's a great variety. And here's a chuyo. I would love to make this. I made a chuyo for my son from a different pattern. I didn't try this one. But I think next time I make one, I will. I almost wish that I had his hat here because at some point when I do, he'll be here for Christmas and I can show you how I did the ear flaps. I did kind of a unique approach on that. So anyhow, that's what I have for today. If you know this book, let me know. I would love to hear about it, and hope that you're a little bit less hot than I am today, and that soon we'll be able to enjoy wearing our hand-knit hats. Have a great day. Bye.